Welcome, everybody. Good morning. It's a chilly morning outside, below zero, but we're going to warm you up with this next episode of the Shelf Scan Podcast. That's better than last week's.
Oh, I am Shani, and guess who that guy is?
I am Senor Miguel, Mr. Mike. And so what we're going to run down is we're going to run down some cool books that we've got in. We're going to tell you about some upcoming library events. We're going to highlight some of our awesome new services that are coming and maybe what's different about the library in 2021. We'd like to talk a little bit about inclusion and diversity in books, and I'm going to give you all a literacy tip of the week. So, what do you want to talk about first?
Hey, we were just, it's funny because we're just sitting here and I was just telling you that this poison water book that you've got over here, that is one that was on our thumbs up that I read for that group. And it is an amazing book. It really is. I don't know that little kids are going to want to read it, but it's a really good book. If you're interested in how the Flint water crisis affected people, that's a really good book.
Yeah, I thought it might pair well if like their parent is going to read What the Eyes Don't See, which is another book about the Flint water crisis and the response to it. This one might be a good supplemental piece. You could read both of them.
Yeah, yep. So that's an excellent book, especially, I know it's in the nonfiction room upstairs. So definitely, if you're middle school, high school, it's over here. It's an excellent book. As far as new books and cool books that we've got, I've got so many cool books that are over there. I can't even tell you all of the good books that are out right now. They run the gamut too. That there's great science fiction, fantasy. There's some romance. There's mystery. We've got realistic fiction. A little bit of everything is over there right now.
I just put my order in for. Well, it's sitting down there in February. It's waiting to be processed. That should be that should get done here pretty soon. There are 3 books that I wanted to highlight just real quickly. I'm very, very excited for your middle grade reader. The new Jennifer L. Holm book, The Lion of Mars, is out, and it's about this kid named Bell. He's 11 years old. He loves cats. He eats any kind of cake. And he's curious about secrets that the adults in the U.S. colony are keeping. Like, why don't we have contact with anyone on the other Mars colonies? Oh, I guess we're on Mars now in this book. I haven't read it yet, but Jennifer L. Holm has such a good reputation from her writing The 14th Goldfish and The Third Mushroom to Turtle in Paradise and Full of Beans, and even the books like Swing It Sonny and Sonny Rolls the Dice in that series too. So I'm really looking forward to reading it. Jennifer L. Holm, The Lion of Mars.
Yeah, Turtle in Paradise is one of my favorite books of all time that she wrote.
Cool.
Yes, excellent books.
You should pick up Full of Beans then, because it's a companion piece.
Is it?
It's about the character in that. She has a cousin.
Okay.
In that book, and in Turtle in Paradise, and Full of Beans focuses on that kid.
All right, I will grab it.
And you'll read it in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Katie the Cat Sitter is another one that I am looking at now. That is a graphic novel, like most things are. And when I was looking at reviews for it, one really struck me, and this person who reviewed the book said, it must be so great to be a comics fan in this day and age. You must finally feel so comfortable coming into the library. She says, I remember it wasn't even 10 to 15 years ago where kids would come in and ask for comics and we'd say, sorry, we don't have any. Now almost everything is a comic. It was not a 1 or 2 year fad, and I don't think it's going away.
No, it's bigger than ever.
They're all over the place.
Yeah,
they really are, and I think it's great. And I will say a lot of resistance to reading graphic novels has kind of subsided. I think people have thrown their hands up and said, "Well, I guess the kid is reading," which is kind of what we've thought all along.
Exactly. Well, and then there's classics that are retold as graphic novels. It's amazing. Yeah, and again, they're reading.
Yeah, they've kept older series alive. They've resurrected like the Babysitter's Club. by using Gail Galligan and Raina Telgemeier to illustrate graphic novels based on old Babysitters Club novels. We're not going to go into that right now, but I mean, if you are my age, then you grew up when the Babysitters Club was popular. So that can be something you can bond with your kid. If you liked the Babysitters Club and they like them now, we'll talk about them. Compare them, share your love for the Babysitters Club.
Yes.
So Katie the cat sitter, Katie is has a boring summer ahead of her. All her friends are at camp, She can't afford to go to camp. It's out of her mom's budget. And let me tell you, I just paid for my son to go to fine arts camp, and I can understand why that might be out of somebody's budget. Anyways, so she wants to earn the money to go to cat for herself. So she gets a job cat sitting for her mysterious upstairs neighbor. And, well, this lady has 217 cats.
Oh, man.
So if you like cats, and it actually has a superhero kind of supervillain plot in it too, so if you like superpowers and you like cats as much as I do, you'll probably like Katie the cat sitter.
Oh, man, that's a lot of cats.
Yeah,
My
it
sister
is.
lives in the middle of 3 dairy farms, and she has 8 cats.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a lot of cats.
That's a lot of cats.
It is a lot of cats.
We thought about getting 2 more, and that would bring us up to 4, and we've kind of given the sideways eye like, yeah, does that make us those people?
Yeah. See, her cats are outside cats, so yeah, that makes a difference.
It does.
4 inside cats, whoo, yeah.
Yeah, the road we live on is way too busy. I wouldn't feel comfortable having
Outside,
outdoor cats.
yeah.
People drive way too fast. And then, so we've got this Fox and Rabbit book, number 1, that came in. It's an easier reader. It's going to be for your first or second grader, but it is a graphic novel, and it's about best friends. It even says on the cover, this book will be your new best friend. And it's just kind of a couple of nice, easy tales about Fox and Rabbit being best friends and doing best friend kind of stuff. So if your kiddo likes graphic novels, it's really it's not super thin, but it's skinny enough, so it won't be intimidating to anybody. The illustrations are simple, colorful, and cute, and the text they're not jamming the bubbles full of text. It's pretty sparse. So it's really good for, an emerging school reader. So those are my 3 books that I wanted to talk about.
All right. I forgot to mention, too, that My Hero Academia, we're getting more of those books. I know that a couple of staff members, their middle school students, are onto those right now. And there's a new series, My Hero Academia Smash, which are manga. So be looking for those to hit the shelves here soon, too.
Oh, you manga fans out there. All
Yes.
right. That's a really popular one.
Yes.
The anime has gotten really popular, too.
Oh, yes. Yeah, there's so much, and there's so many things out there that you can watch as far as like Netflix or, I can't think of what they are, but there's so many different platforms out there that you can read or whatever. So,
Is Crunchyroll still
yeah.
a thing?
Yep. Crunchyroll. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to, do you have any books you wanted to talk about, or are we going to move on?
Not any specific books right now. There are so many books that we've gotten, and I think we're going to talk a little bit later about inclusion and diverse books, which I've got lists and lists of those books.
Sure.
That seems to be what we have in the teen room.
All right, so upcoming library events. Well, going on right now, don't forget, we still have the Reading with My Nomies adult winter reading program. You can still sign up. That's going to go all the way to March 26th. You can sign up, and then if you're not comfortable using our Beanstack app, don't worry. Our staff will do it for you. We'll log your minutes for you. You can have a paper log just like we used to do, and we can help you out with that. The kids also have the Pages for Pizza Winter Reading Challenge. I'm trying to get them to log up to 10 hours of reading. Every hour they read, they can put a ticket into the drawing, and I'll buy them pizza for their class for lunch one day. And if you're a homeschool family, cool. I want you to do this too. I'll just buy your family a pizza dinner. Or if you prefer, I'll buy you a gift card to Pizza Hut or Oliveira's or something. I'll let you kind of determine where you want your pizza to come from.
Sounds excellent. Hey, yeah, I've got new things going on too. All of our stuff tends to drop on Facebook and Instagram, so make sure that you're always watching those. For detailed information, of course, go to the website. But to find out about like my new mug club that we've got going, we've got the mugs on order. We're going to put some cute little clip art on those, and once a month you're going to get some ingredients, and you're going to be able to make your own mug dessert. So that's pretty cool. We've been working hard, Paula, Mike, and I have been working on book bundles. And that is something that you will either be able to go online, fill out a form, or call into the library, give us some basic information, and we'll put some books together for you. And it's up to you if you want 1 book, 3 books, 5, up to 10 books. And you tell us what you're looking for. If you want picture books, if you want easy readers, nonfiction, all the way up through adult science fiction, fantasy, westerns, large print, DVDs, we'll put some stuff together for you. And if you don't feel comfortable coming in, we still have curbside.
Yep, we do offer both. If you don't want to come in and see us, we'll come out to see you at your car or your vehicle, whatever you drive. Or even in the spring, if you ride your bike, I'll run it out to you. It's fine. But yeah, I guess even if you want a specific author, we'll look if we have it, we'll pull it for you.
Yep, exactly. We could put books on hold for you. You know, basically what we want is for you to feel comfortable if you can't make it into the library because it's cold or, you know, you got 4 kids in the car and you just can't make it in. Send us a request and Mr. Mike will pull books together for you. And you know, tell us which part of the neighborhood that you want the books pulled from. And it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, tell me what your kids like to read about. You've got 4s and unders who are in car seats, and you just can't manage to get them all through the yard, up the stairs, into the library. That's just not going to be feasible that day. Please send us an email. I will be happy to grab up to 10 books, I think we're doing.
Yep.
A 10-book bundle for your kiddos. Just tell me what they like to read. I'll pull some stuff off the shelf. You'll have a great time reading to them. I'll run them out to your car. I'll say hi to them, everything else. It'll be great.
Right. Well, and one of our favorite patrons, Jaden, is still coming in once in a while. But we all know, you know, his family can't make it into the building because of the way that Hall Fowler is set up. But his mom could easily do a book bundle and pull some books for his siblings, and Jaden can just pick those up when he stops in.
Yep.
So it's available for everybody. I can't wait to offer this and let my mom know about this because right now with her health and everything else, she doesn't want to come out and go into public buildings. This way she can just pull up in the back parking lot, give us a call, books come out, she's all set. She's happy.
Yeah, it's hopefully people who are listening, library patrons will take advantage of this. I'd really like to see this be a thing. I really want this to go somewhere.
Yeah, I do too. I really think that this helps because obviously we can't bring the books right out to you to your house, so this is the best thing that we can do at this time.
Sure can. All right. So also I wanted to highlight just a reason. Well, I've been doing a lot of digital uploads and putting stuff on Facebook and on YouTube recently. Currently, our my Storytime videos aren't getting the kind of like views that I would like, and so I was talking last night with my wife, and she said, well, maybe just tell people like an example of how they can use your video, and I said, oh, that's great. So what I'm saying is, you know, everybody needs a break when they've got little kids sometimes. Everybody has long lines at the grocery store. Everybody has long waits at the doctor's office. Everybody wants to just get away for 20 minutes to take a hot shower, right? So, yes, I know that screen time is discouraged for younger kids, but if you've got to occupy them somehow and you want them to watch something, well, why not actually watch somebody read to them? Or watch a picture book being read. I mean, what I offer with Storytime Anytime is what I would offer with actual live story time. A couple of songs, 3 picture books. The only thing that's missing is the face-to-face interaction and the playtime that's after story time. So it's just 15 to 20 minutes. They can have somebody reading to them while you're taking care of some business that you need to take care of, and I'd like to see more people take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, and I have older kids now, but when my kids were little, I know that there would be times where I had to talk to a doctor's office or I had to call somebody about taxes or the bank. And you know as well as I do, the minute you pick up the phone, the kids are like, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. So this would be perfect. You could have them be for, 15, 20 minutes, be entertained by someone that you know. You're supporting the library, and they're going to see a favorite book that we have here at the library because Mr. Mike's holding it in his hand. So they're going to watch that video, they're going to see that favorite book, and they're going to want to stop in here and read that book.
Right, and the reason I think that it's almost better than doing a story time where I'm on Zoom or going on Facebook Live to do story time is because you can watch this any day. The video is uploaded to the Facebook page and the YouTube channel. You could go and find it either place. If you can't get there at 10 a.m. on Thursdays, well, why not watch it on Friday? Watch it on Saturday. Watch it any day.
Right.
Whereas with live story time or Zoom story time, well, if you're not there, you're not going to get it.
Well, exactly. And I just got to think about it. I don't know about your kids, Mike, but when my kids were little, they wanted to read the same book over and over and over. And I don't know, maybe you could put in a request to Mr. Mike or something and say, hey, my kid right now loves this book. And, I'm speaking for Mr. Mike here, but maybe he could put a story time together and you could have that favorite book of your kid be read over and over and over if they just keep hitting play.
I got an email from a person all the way in Utah who shows my videos to her little one, where she said that she's like, if you see a specific book get spikes in views, it's probably from us, because I just wanted to tell you that my 2-year-old begs to see you at nighttime when we do story time. She doesn't want to listen to us anymore. She wants to listen to Mr. Mike. I don't know these people. She just emailed me from Utah.
That is awesome.
In the springtime. Last spring she told me that. And that was pretty cool.
That is really cool. And like I said, I know for a fact when I, had young kids, they wanted to read that over and over and again. And like I said, this way they could do that. And you don't have to be the one reading that book over and over again.
No, because I'll tell you, there's a couple of Magic School Bus books that I can't stand because I had to read them so many times.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love to do the Skippy John Jones ones when I had little kids, though. I love to do those voices. But yeah, after the first time through, my voice is tired.
Yeah, I had that happen the other day after I did a story time. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This is a performance that actually is taxing.
Yes.
You might not think so, but when you go and you put your all into it, it is physically tiring.
Yes.
You remember those days where I would have 4 story times in a day?
Oh, yeah.
I'd be dead.
Yes.
My day would be over pretty much.
Yes. Yep. Physically exhausted. Mentally, too.
Well, so we want people to see more books. One thing that we do want to see more of, and we are seeing it slowly creep in more and more, is we want more kids to be able to see themselves in books. We want them to look at a book cover and be able to see someone who looks like them. So we're going to have a discussion real quick about inclusion and why do we need diverse books.
Right. Well, diverse and inclusive books have got different themes. They cover race, ethnicity, social justice, mental health, LGBTQ, covers different physical impairments, different things that, like you said, kids want to see themselves in a story. And I know, looking last night through my teen books, I've got one where, the main character is blind. And then we've got ones with multiple sclerosis or cerebral palsy, epilepsy. I've got ones that are, Hispanic. People of color are huge right now. You come into the teen room and you've got these excellent stories. And a lot of times, people do judge books by the cover, which, if they don't look like you don't want to read that book. But you know what? They've got that same story that you have got. Mm-hmm. But if you come into the teen room right now, I can't even count on my fingers how many different books that have people of color on the cover.
The coverage is getting larger and larger. And I've heard the argument that, what about my white kids? How are they going to see themselves in books? Well, they're everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Already.
Yeah, I was looking at the stats last night, and even though we've got more people of color on the covers of teen books, it is still amazing. It's gone from 68% of white people on the covers. It's now 61%. So it's still more than half, almost 3/4 of the books have, got written by people who are Caucasian. But again, it's more than just color. Like we said, it's different things. It's LGBTQ. We have got, books on that. We've got, like I said, different physical and, differences that you can find yourself and, see and read about.
And unfortunately, it's not accepted by everybody. We had a comment a while ago. I got a picture book called Black Heroes of the Wild West. It's actually a nonfiction book, but it highlights the contributions to things that African American people have made during the Wild West time, because most of your history books focus on white people. That's the way it's always been. And we had a comment saying, well, there are white heroes too. I'm like, yeah, it's like 95% of the biography section at the library. So don't worry, they're not going anywhere.
Right.
They're still there, but it's time to start it's not mutually exclusive. You can acknowledge people of color or people of different gender or different orientation and still recognize white people as well.
Right.
They both can coexist. That's the whole idea.
Right. And Ionia is such a different community from when I was a kid. When I went to high school, there was one person of color in my entire school. Now, the kids that I see that come in, or I see on Facebook who are friends of the kids that come in, they are all over the place. Ionia has become more of a melting pot than ever. Mm-hmm. So we've got kids from all different walks of life. And like I said, the books that we've got is amazing, because you've got kids who are from different social and economic backgrounds, which is important too, because those people need to be covered in books.
Yeah, you want a kid, a child or a teen to walk away from a book saying, yeah, I really identified with that person. That person is kind of telling my story.
Yes.
They'll be more invested in what's going on in the book and probably be inspired to read more.
Right, exactly. And then you've got the books. When I first started here at the library, one of my favorite books of all time is Sort of Like a Rock Star. And that one, it had nothing to do with anything in my life. This girl is homeless. Her mom dies. I mean, it's just, all kinds of things happen to this girl. But I picked it up, and it made me more sympathetic, and I had more empathy for different people. And I think that's important too for our kids, is to be able to read those books and maybe see how people, have to get through life if they're in a wheelchair, or what they have to deal with if they're blind, or if they don't see themselves in the school,
And realize that their story is not everybody's story. I didn't really understand that until I was easily in my 30s, after I started working at the library. In fact, I mean, but you don't really think about it. I lived in Grand Rapids. I grew up in Grand Rapids, and even then, because I went to Catholic school, I didn't have any people of color in my school until high school. And so you got to remember, just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean it doesn't happen. You're one of 7 billion people. Chances are that your story is just a tiny, tiny, tiny sliver of the full picture. I don't think that our own life becomes so engrossing, and we're so enveloped in our own stuff that we don't stop to realize just how, frankly, insignificant our own story really is when you look at the grand scheme of things.
Right. Well, if you look at the movies that are out now and the television shows that our kids are watching, there are people of color, people of different abilities. So if they're watching it, let's read about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
All right. Well, it is time for the early literacy tip of the week. Spend time in conversation with your child to develop vocabulary and knowledge of the world. Label what you see and explain how things work. That's what I read directly from my paper. Talk to your kids, people. Talk to them.
Oh, I used to take my kids. I was very, very lucky, and I took my kids to work with me when they were little. And we had about a 15-minute commute into Portland. And my poor kids, but I would sing, I would use different voices, and I would describe, oh, look, there's a little tree over there. What kind of tree is that? And, I would use different voices, and I sang constantly to the kids. But like Mike is saying, talk to your kids. That's especially in the car. You've got them,
Talk about anything.
yeah.
Talk about what you're doing. You're washing dishes? Talk about it. Talk about the shape of the plate. Talk about how the water feels on your hands. Talk about how you're using the soap. Explain to them the process. It doesn't have to be anything profound. You don't have to teach life lessons. Just use words, because they are always listening, and they're soaking things up like a sponge, especially when they're, babies and toddlers. Just talk and talk and talk. The more words that they know, the bigger their vocabulary will be, the more likely their chance of reading success is going to be when they get to school. So yes, talk to your child. We work closely with the GSRP and their Talking is Teaching initiative. So we're very big on encouraging people. You know what? You already talked to your kids. Keep going. You're doing great. Keep it up. Keep talking about more things. Talk about anything. Your kids will thank you for it, because they like to hear your voice.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, and like you said, it can be anything. You're putting on pants today. Oh, I'm putting on my pants today. I'm wearing long pants. Why am I wearing long pants, guys? Oh, because it's 0 degrees outside.
Yep.
Anything that you want to talk about and explain. And it does, I know you said, it doesn't have to be a life lesson, but eventually, the older these kids get, those are little life lessons. If you're talking about the bubbles and when you're washing the dishes and they're going to understand why they need to have those bubbles. They can't just use hot water. Mm-hmm. So there's different little things that all comes together, and they're all building blocks.
So that's the literacy tip of the week. And that's where I think we're going to wrap things up. Thanks for chatting with me today. This was another good one. We've been talking for almost a half hour again.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Time just kind of flies.
Yeah, I wish we could just set this up and just leave it set up and just every once in a while, 15 minutes. Hey, let's talk about this.
Yeah, yep. And then we could, anytime we had a conversation, we could just put it all together and stitch it together into a podcast.
Right.
Or maybe in the Mercantile building, we'll have a quiet room where we can set this stuff up, we can lock it up, and then anytime we need to have a conversation like this, we can go and record. Anyways.
All right.
We'll see you next time. Until then, have a great day.